Well, here is what we have going on today. We got done planting corn here last night. I'm emptying what seed was left in the seed tender out. And we're emptying fertilizer out of these planters. I've got this planter empty here now. I need some wind in that tire. Got a load of sand that was just delivered. Then we'll pull that planter over. We'll unload the fertilizer out of that. And we'll have to get the fertilizer unloaded out of the tank that is on that fertilizer truck. Then we can go into washing. We're gonna see some record heat here today, and it's gonna be nice to spray some water on things. So make sure this doesn't back up into our auger pipe here. So we'll keep at it and get this stuff cleaned up, and we'll get it put away. Alright, so what we ended up doing is we took about 240 pounds out of that front compartment last night. So there was a full tote in there, and this is how much is left from it. We'll put the cover back on this, and we'll hold this seed until next year. They don't make Hubner anymore. Channel Seed bought Hubner out, so this is the last of the Hubner corn. Alright, so we'll empty out what is left in this planter for seed as well, which is not all that much. I figured out how many acres I had left last night, then I did the math on how many pounds of seed I needed, and as you've seen in the last part of the video from last night, we were hitting the low seed amount in each hopper, so we had enough to finish. However, it was hitting the alarm. So we'll get that emptied out and pull that next one in and get the fertilizer dumped out of that, and we've got to clean, we'll vacuum all the seed out of those hoppers as well. Well, we've got fertilizer emptied out of both planters. Now we're just cleaning out the remainder of the fertilizer that's left on that truck. Then what we're going to do is we're going to rinse them tanks out, fill them with water, and then we'll have those filled with water in the event that we need to water some hay, or heaven forbid we have a fire. We don't want to think about that. But so I've got all of the covers off of each row unit here, and they furnish this yellow thing here to catch the corn out of the actual meter itself. So the hopper is empty. I've got them cleaned out. I spilled a little bit of corn emptying that one. I emptied this one, and now I've got to do 4 more on this side, 4 across the back, and 6 up the other side. So we'll just release this guy here. Then you can just pull the cover off, and that cup that they give you is just the right size to hold what corn is in the actual meter. And then we'll just quarter turn those or so. Take this out from underneath there without spilling it. Dump it into our pail. Take this guy here, clip him underneath the cover. There, just like that. Same thing. Two-handed's a little better. Spill a little kernel, a few kernels. Only doing the one hand. That one had some dirt in it. Well, the seed's all cleaned out of the other corn planter, and that is how much we've got out of each little mini hopper. Now this one here has got the 3 bushel hoppers on it, and we've got a little bit of seed left in each hopper. Now we can open up the meter, do the same thing as we did with them other ones, but there's going to be a little bit more than what the little cup holds on this one. This planter has basically the same thing. It has a little bowl that goes over the top of the gauge wheel. You can open up the meter itself and dump the remainder of the corn right down into them little cups, but we should be able to suck a majority of the corn out with the vacuum cleaner. So it is a warm one, and want to get these sucked out and then start throwing some water on these planters. That'll cool me off a little bit. So we'll get this sucked out and then we'll get to washing. Alright, so we're just about ready to wash this. We sucked all the corn out of the hoppers, and then John Deere gives you this style cup here to clean out the remainder of the corn that's in the actual meter itself. Now there's only about a handful or so corn in here. We'll just paw this little bit out, and then we'll just move on to the next one. Now the other thing you want to do with these meters is you got to turn that about 7/8 of the way to lock it in. And when it's sitting during the off season, you want it just barely touched. You don't want that loaded. So this one here that we move to, this one of course is loaded. So just gotta kind of reach in here and hold it. Unlock it, pull it out, put it back on. Just lightly touch it, and then we've got the covers off. So what we'll do is we'll clean all these out, then we'll go back through and just put the cover on, and then we won't bother inspecting any of these now. We'll inspect them next spring and replace anything that needs to be replaced, whether it be the eliminator, or we'll make sure the discs are all within spec. What I did notice is I have a closing wheel frame that is out of whack here. I think it was that, yeah, it's that one right there. So that's got a bushing that's bad, maybe some hardware as well. And then I'm pretty sure this needs seat opener discs. But we're not gonna worry about that now. We're gonna do that work on this in the springtime. We'll get it all cleaned up, get it put away, and we'll have more time here in the spring. I could leave it out until I'm ready to work on it this summer, but I just don't want to leave it outside any longer, and it has to be, and time could get away from us here. So we'll continue that same job all the way down through here, and then we'll start throwing some water on it. All right, so we've got the older corn planter all cleaned up. We're gonna pull this one out of the way, pull the other one in. Then after we get the other one washed, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull all of these gauge wheels off. We'll pull them off, fluid film them, and then put them back together. We just wanna do that to prevent them from seizing up when it comes time to change those fertilizer discs. If you can't get that gauge wheel out of the center hub of that fertilizer disc, it causes a huge problem. So we'll pull this out and get the other one in there. All right, so some of the other projects that are going on is, well, this truck 18's got a oil leak at the compressor. Right, Nathan?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's tearing that apart, and Jared's finishing up this 8110. He ended up getting the hood pieces on, this front grille section, all brand new LED lights in the hood, headlights on the cab, flashers. The only thing that's not an LED is this side one, correct? Is that new?
It's just a reflector.
Oh, that's just a reflector. Okay. So that ain't gonna be an LED. So he's got everything on here. We just need to put the name tags down the side. And then this tractor will be mucho done. We ran into a timing issue here as far as getting it done for spring work. When we got it done, this hydraulic cylinder leaked on this one side, so he had to rebuild that. We've got to get some paint onto it yet. And then we'll put it to work. Oh yeah, all new LED lights on it. The arm lights, the work lights on the back, the flasher lights up in the cab roof. And he's just putting some other things on there, and then we're going to get the decals on it. So all right, so we have most of the dust wiped off of this. Now we're ready to put the decals on. The one nice thing about having paint on this from so long ago, it's not as delicate to handle. I just sprayed some window cleaner on that, wiped all that dust off, and I didn't have to worry about putting any scratches on it. If that paint were soft, and I see I got some haze over on this side I got to finish wiping off. If that paint was soft, we'd worry about, if that paint was soft, we would worry about scratching it. So there's the John Deere nameplate here with 8110 on it, and then there's a big John Deere emblem that goes on the back portion of the hood. The Aught series didn't have the John Deere piece in the back. The striping was a little different on the Aught series as well, and there is the John Deere sticker there. We're going to try to get that placed exactly in the spot it needs to be. So there's not rights and lefts to them, is there?
Yeah, the square
goes in the back. Okay, so yeah. Yep. All right. So that is important that we get our right and left sides on there. So maybe we could put this on the back and you'd have 8110 John Deere. Or does it say? No, it doesn't even say. I guess this is just a stripe. So we could put them on backwards just to put them on backwards. We could be different. We could put the big John Deere emblem right here and 8110 way back there. All right, so let's get these decals on and we'll show you what it looks like. Well, we've got the decals on the right hand side. However, the decals for the left, we don't have the correct name badge one for here. They gave us two right hand sides. However, they were boxed with different part numbers. One was a 221 and I think the other one was a 220. So we can't really put this one on until we get the bottom one on because of where the R and the E line up on the bottom one. So we want to kind of go with that. The R and the E kind of end up centered right on this mark here. So he'll have to get the right decal for it, and we'll join back up with you on this project when we get the right one. So, or the left one rather. Alright. Alright, so we've got this all cleaned up. And one of the guys did the other planter already. But we've got this one out here, and what we're doing is we're pulling the gauge wheels off the fertilizer discs. We're going to clean them little shafts up, anti-seize them, and then we're going to put them right back together. In the event that you have to replace one of these fertilizer discs, or when it comes time to replace the bearings on this fertilizer disc hub, usually a few years go by and these damn things don't want to pull out of that hub. And usually what you have to do is you end up sacrificing that gauge wheel little shaft there, and or the damn hub for the fertilizer disc. So we anti-seized this when it was brand new, took them all off, anti-seized them, put it all back together. We did the same thing at the end of the season last year with the other planter, and then we did that with the other planter just about an hour ago. So we'll do that, and then we can get these planters put away. Before we put them away, we'll run through and rinse it off again. We've got just a little bit of haze on here, just dust and whatever like that. So with that being said, that is gonna do it for this video. Jared ordered the other decal for the 8110, and maybe that'll come in here tomorrow and we can get that finalized. They've been working on trucks here in the shop, and he's got this 8320 that he's working on as well. He's got some hydraulic fittings to put on it. So that's gonna do her.